Der findes spillere i Roblox, som har tjent millioner af dollars på at spille og lave spil til Roblox. Og det her er historien om, hvordan de gik fra ingenting til alting. Den video, vi skal til at se nu, er lavet af Cube Inc. Og selvfølgelig går vi først lige ind og liker videoen, inden vi ser den. Hvis ikke du allerede har gjort det, så subscribe også lige til ham. Du skal også lige subscribe til mig, ikke også? Men nu starter vi med at se The Rise of Roblox Richest Players. Er I klar?
Imagine making millions of dollars by simply playing Roblox.
Det er jo lidt ligesom mig. Næsten.
That's literally impossible.
Nej, det er det ikke.
Are you sure about that?
That's
Stod der Roblox milliardær. Det gjorde
one of
det.
the few who turned their love for Roblox into billions of Robux, the largest games on the planet, real
Milliarder
historical
af
moments,
Robux.
and more. But to find out how they did this, we need to dive into their full stories one by one, beginning with Stickmaster Luke.
Stickmaster.
Upon joining Roblox, Luke was your average 14-year-old kid playing games and having fun. But he wasn't happy being just a player. He wanted to make a game go big.
Jeg synes, det er sejt, når folk spiller Roblox eller andre spil, og så beslutter sig for, det vil jeg også lave. Og så bare gå i gang med at lave deres eget. Altså at lave spil i Roblox. Jeg har ikke selv prøvet det, men alle kan komme i gang, kan de ikke? Hvor svært kan det være?
This was not just to get rich, but to also prove that with enough passion, you can bring a whole community together.
Det er sejt.
Except, the odds of this happening were close to zero. We're talking about 2007. To give you a sense of this, here's an average game from our time.
Ja.
That was epic. How do you even make that? And compare that to one from Luke's time. What even is that?
Det der var de fede spil, lad os lige være ærlige.
To work with, maybe his dream was already dead.
Hvor gammel er Roblox i det hele taget? Roblox er fra 2006. Jesus Christ, mand. Det er 1 år gammelt, da han tænker, det her det bliver fedt.
Achieve your goals, you should never be afraid to take that first step. Welcome to the underground war. Even with nothing, Luke tried his best. Despite its flaws, players somehow found joy out of terrorizing other players, which led to the game reaching a couple thousand visits.
Det er sgu da meget fedt.
Although it's not much, this was amazing for Luke. Because the thing is, Roblox back then paid you virtual money whenever someone joins your game. So instead of relaxing, Luke grinded out a butt ton of games in the following years.
Fik man 10 Robux hver gang nogen prøvede en spil? Så hvis han havde 42.000 visits, det er næsten 500.000 Robux.
Getting more players and more money from his fun simple ideas.
Men start, mand.
As well as showing them off on YouTube.
Det var ikke 10 Robux, det der, vel?
And more money from his fun, simple ideas.
Nej. Okay, så han får... han får 0,1 Robux. Okay, jeg synes, der stod 10 Robux frem. Der er 0,1 Robux. Okay, fint nok.
As well as showing them off on YouTube, which clearly worked. His original ideas sparked some of the most well-known Roblox players. So obviously he deserves some amount of fortune.
Enig.
But even with this money, he can easily lose it all if he didn't spend it wisely.
Hvad køber han?
No way you're spending all that Robux on one single
Han købte en hat til 50.000
Robux. This may
Robux.
seem like a dumb move, but you'll see why it's genius. But to make the money back, Luke worked really hard on his games, making each one better than the last. But rather than making them flashy like modern games, he focused on making them replayable, meaning you can play them again and again and again without getting bored.
Det er derfor, at campingspillene ikke rigtig blev den kæmpe succes, som man havde håbet på. Fordi du spillede dem typisk kun én gang. Hvorfor skulle du spille dem igen? Du havde jo fået historien.
This led to him reaching 10 million visits, meeting actual Roblox admins, and most importantly...
Altså, det skal ikke lyde forkert. Jeg elsker campingspillene, men man spiller dem jo ikke igen og igen, vel?
Buying a bunch of hats for some reason. But this would all change on one fateful day. It's 2011, and Luke got a message from a special person. Roblox himself?
Oh, they're freaking nice.
I noticed your games are getting so much love from the community. Why not come work here?
Wait, this has to be fake. No way a child can work for Roblox, right?
Bliver ansat hos Roblox.
Luke Weber, Roblox's newest employee.
And all while being an 18-year-old kid.
Most of my friends are like
flipping burgers and stuff like that, and I feel kind of bad for them.
Og det er meget cool.
Got this opportunity for this great job and everything.
With this amount of power, he can easily abuse it when things don't go his way.
Det gør han ikke, det gør han ikke.
He stayed true to himself and kept learning how to develop. Thanks to this, he made even more Robux by selling his own items. But just as you thought he couldn't get richer, one of his oldest games randomly blew up.
Hvad var det for net?
You may be wondering how
er det natural disaster survival?
This basic blew up 4 years later. Well, the answer is in the gameplay. Welcome to NDS. You spawn on this
natural disaster survival. Det er sgu da alt som spillet, mand.
A random disaster is chosen to annihilate you and everyone you love.
Det er sådan et spil, man kan spille igen og igen og igen, fordi der sker hele tiden noget nyt, og samtidig bliver du bedre og bedre til at overleve.
Right? I mean, the game itself had a lot of glitches and didn't even update much, so you may think it'll die out. That guy is screwed. But these imperfections added to the randomness and funny moments made in the game.
Okay, det er meget cool. Jeg tror, jeg har lavet måske 2 videoer med det spil der.
This is exactly what players wanted. The true magic of this game is that everything is completely random. You don't know what to expect, which makes it really replayable. But with the entire community at his fingertips, Luke needed to play his cards right.
Visits.
To prevent the game from getting...
Altså, jeg tror ikke, du får Robux mere for hvert visit, fordi 1 milliard visits, det vil jo give ham 100 millioner Robux.
Boring. He added a multi-disaster machine. This allowed rich people to bring hell down to earth.
Here we go.
Spicing up the game. But even with an update schedule worse than mine, the game still made a ton of money from players paying to win, and I'm definitely not one of them. But even still, this wasn't Luke's biggest flow of Robux.
That is cap.
That would be the Hatsy bot. Back then, they were a lot cheaper, costing a few hundred Robux. But as time went by, the price of the hats, especially his Dominus, rose to millions, making him even wealthier.
600 millioner for en hat!
Luke remained humble and continued to help with huge events and kept his game simple.
Jeg vil ikke lyve, jeg sad og overvejede lige før, skal jeg også have sådan en Dominus hat? 600 millioner Robux? Så bliver det skal jeg ikke. Nej. This guy.
But even with billions of visits, the second most valuable account, and a fat pay from Roblox, there's far more impressive millionaires in our community. Unlike Luke, Snicktrix joined a lot later in time. He wanted to spice up Roblox because the games were getting stale. Although we had more players, we also had higher competition and higher standards for games. Oh yeah, and game visits no longer convert into Robux. But unlike most devs, Snicktrix did have experience with Minecraft servers and even made a cute Roblox farm game, which didn't get much, but combining these two ideas, he spent months working on...
Men har jeg spillet noget, der hedder Farm Life? Farm Life... Jeg har kraftet med spillet det, mand! I 19! Okay, 20.000 visninger for en video fra 2019. Den har ikke klaret sig særlig godt. Jeg har spillet det, så det fik nogen, ikke også?
That can fail or change his life forever.
Han laver et eller andet spil, vi kender nu.
Most devs back then would create the same kind of game over and over and over. But Snicktrix took the risk of creating Minecraft-themed Roblox games. The first being Skyblock.
Han laver Bed Wars sammen med Akon, ikke?
And use what little you have to make something great.
100p han laver Bed Wars sammen med.
Minecraft clones usually fail, so Skyblock started off slow.
Skyblock har også spillet. Det klarede sig ret godt.
Maybe it wasn't so bad to make something different. But Snicktrix was shocked at how fast his game blew up. Perhaps it was the great game mechanics or the progressive nature, but players started playing and money started flowing.
Minecraft actually costs money, but on this game you essentially get the exact same experience without having to pay any sort of money.
Der er lidt problemer med copyright der og sådan noget, men det skal vi ikke snakke om.
This means that everyone can play it. More players, more money. But to keep the game afloat, the updates had to be creative.
And it could be the next big thing on Roblox.
This is unoriginal and disrespectful.
That's a bit of a stretch.
Roblox moderators should ban this game forever.
No, we people agree with this.
This game keeps copying Minecraft.
Imagine copying copy of Minecraft Skyblock.
Imagine having a ton of y'all stupid for playing a copy of Minecraft.
Okay, but this won't affect the game itself.
Jo, det tror jeg det. Jeg har spillet det. Er det bandet?
Skyblock was all of a sudden gone.
Det er bandet.
Players complained that they stole from Minecraft, so Roblox shut it down.
Det gjorde de også. Folk har brugt 3.000 Robux på det.
It seemed like Snicktrix will give up on his goal. But as a last-ditch resort, they changed the name from Skyblock to Islands, praying the ban would be lifted.
Ja. Så er det ikke en kopi mere. Nu er det ikke lige så meget. Fedt nok.
Using this second chance,
Genial.
he had to play his cards right. With a whole website full of ideas, the team knew exactly what fans wanted.
What if we made it so players can visit other islands?
With better updates and better things to build in your island, players spend more time and money grinding out their base, leading to amazing creations, bringing attention to the game. With everyone being obsessed with making the best base possible, you may think their game will never die out. But right as the new year started, they made the worst possible updates.
Hvad gjorde de?
Since the game had so much content, players easily found ways to dupe items. This made everything less valuable, meaning less people will spend money on the game.
Folk
to fix this, the devs wiped everyone's money and items.
De wipede alting.
But can you really blame them? Imagine losing something valuable just because...
Prøv at høre, hvis du wiper alting, også så alt væk. Alt det folk har brugt Roblox på, det er gone.
Someone else broke the rules. This led to many players quitting, and on top of all of that, the game got way too complicated with all these new items. With all this going on, you may think the team will call it quits. But instead of seeing this as a bad thing, Vigtige saw this as a chance to make something new and great. With the knowledge, money, and attention he got from Islands, he spent months on a new game with the goal of getting emotions out of people. And that game was Roblox Bed Wars.
100p.
Unlike Islands, Bed Wars was a lot more competitive, because instead of building and farming, you spawn on an island with infinite lives. If your bed breaks, you have one life left. Last team standing wins. Vigtige had a lot of faith in the idea, so they slowly drifted away from Islands to focus completely on Bed Wars. But with that as their main source of money, they better not mess it up. First off, Vigtige's new Bed Wars copied Minecraft, so to avoid getting banned again, he spiced it up by adding a bunch of kits, each helping you win in-game. Since they spent millions of Robux on them. The devs get money and players have fun. It's a win-win, but there's still one issue. Kits cost Robux, so not everyone can use them. To fix this, he added a battle pass. By grinding the game long enough, you can unlock kits for free. But
Battle passes er genialt i den her type spil. Det får folk til at spille og spille og spille. Jeg siger ikke det, jeg siger bare, at det er smart fra spillets synspunkt. Jeg siger ikke, det er godt eller fornuftigt eller sådan noget, men det er smart fra spillets synspunkt.
Robux to instantly complete the battle pass. Hopefully this won't cause any problems. And on top of all of that, the team added enchants, which made the game even more insane. You see, if you want to win in this game, you need as much loot as possible to buy OP stuff. But players found ways to combine kits and enchants to completely break the game.
Oh no. What? Infinite health?
Yeah. These tricks and the gameplay in general always made players rage. To get revenge, they spent more money on OP kits. On the flip side, he made just as much from kit gifting. This allowed GigaChats to spend thousands of dollars gifting everyone kits. But also, Vigtige gets a percent of the money. More players equals more gifting equals more money. Another smart move from the devs was adding win streaks. Basically how many times you win in a row. Because of this, players spent weeks building insane
Min win streak er 0, det vil jeg gerne lige afsløre mig sammen.
Win streaks, having everyone cheer for them, only to lose it to a hacker, which, to be fair, added more hype to the game. But to keep Bed Wars alive for as long as possible, the devs had to update as much as they can. So, throughout the year, every week they added game modes, kits, OP items, you name it. It seemed like every day there's some new game-breaking glitch, which made the game feel infinite. But all this hype led to an inevitable problem. Picture this. You stumble across Bed Wars for the first time. You join a match and hope to learn the ins and outs of... Considering we had 25, wait, no, 45 kits, it was nearly impossible for new players to play, because anyone can get these broken kits by spending crazy amounts of Robux. Players went ballistic over the unfairness. To fix this, the devs added relics, basically free upgrades at the start of each match. It's the right idea, but...
For the love of God, just remove relics, it's literally luck-based.
I forgot to mention, relics were chosen randomly. All it did was make Bed Wars luck instead of skill. Yes, the kits made millions of dollars, but if pro players and new players felt excluded, what's the point?
Hvad var updatesne? Relics are gone. Men hvad med
Snittrix had a
kidsene?
new goal, not to make as much Robux as possible, but to make Bed Wars truly fair for everyone. To do this, we need to figure out what made the game unfair. Firstly, no one likes fighting a tryhard with an unfair kit, so the devs made a kitless game mode, Murder in Bedtown, a murder mystery type game. And yes, in the past, we did have free-to-play game modes, but those still had tryhards and hackers, and no one likes that.
Det er selvfølgelig genialt at lave en mode, så du ikke spiller mod folk, der er kids, men de burde jo også lave ranked. Kan man spille det ranked?
Overall, Murder in Bedtown gave new players something exciting, because all you needed was to watch out for the murderer. But that wasn't enough. Next up, they made the better kits free. So new players had a chance to level up in the battle pass. For context, free kits go free each week, but they usually sucked. But even with these changes, a balanced game needs more balanced game modes. So the devs got to work on 2 special ones. The same kit mode where everyone has the exact same kit. And OG mode. Unlike all the other game modes, this one had no kits, no forge, and no unfair shenanigans. Because of their thoughtfulness, many old players came back just to play these game modes. I guess simple and fair always wins. But the best for last, the devs used an old feature from 2021. Custom matches. This lets you make your own Bed Wars game and spawn any item, which on its own kept the game alive for a bit. But the devs took it a step further by adding scripts, allowing you to modify your game and add basically anything. Like seriously, I honestly thought this wasn't possible for Roblox. This gave each player a chance to make their own game mode, and even make money by selling.
Man kan lave sine egne matches, du kan have dine egne scripts og mods til det. Det vidste jeg ikke engang, man kunne i Roblox.
Scripts. By giving players some kind of control, it's kind of hard for it to get boring. Unlike most devs, Snittrix successfully made a fair and endless game. But even with 10 million combined visits, 2 innovation awards in the same day, and a team of hardworking devs, there's always a bigger fish in the sea.
Men hvor mange penge tjente den?
While Snittrix saw Minecraft as inspiration, Indra loved fighting games and saw them as inspiration. With this newfound love, him and his brother spent years in their garage, making anime fighting games and following their inspiration.
Hvad laver de for et spil?
But none of the games went far. However, all this work didn't completely go to waste. Along the way, they met a bunch of like-minded people.
We all want to make a successful fighting game. Let's put all our skills together and make this happen.
Hvad laver de for et spil?
Now with some extra hands, he was able to create 2 pretty decent games. The first one kinda bombed, but it got recognized by a pretty special person. But as for the second one...
Might not last, but #1 PC game is pretty cool.
That was fast. Players loved the game idea. All you gotta do is pick an element and start swinging. It's so simple, which means any player can get into it. But the billion-dollar question is, how will Indra stay on top? Yes, getting up was easy, but staying up is a much bigger challenge. Surprisingly, Elemental Wars wasn't his final vision of a Roblox game. Even with all of this, he was yet to reach his full potential.
Jeg ved godt, hvad han laver nu.
Be a cool Roblox game.
This is
One Piece.
One of Indra's favorite animes, and conveniently, the #1 show
du
in
ved
the
godt, hvad for et
world.
spil han laver, ikke også?
Mechanics from his previous games.
Vi ved det godt.
Made a sequel, Blox Piece, with the goal of spreading his love for his
Blox
favorite
Piece.
show.
Det er sgu da ikke Blox Piece.
At first glance, Blox Piece looked up.
Og vi er altså enige om, at Blox Piece er det, der bliver til Blox Fruits.
Bit generic, but the real genius was in the gameplay. Since One Piece was so popular,
jeg har spillet Blox Fruits i måske 2-3 timer eller sådan noget. Jeg kan se, hvorfor det her er muligvis det bedste spil på hele Roblox. Nogle gange så føles det som om det er et spil, der ikke burde være på Roblox, fordi det burde være sit eget spil.
Took a lot of things from the show and applied it to his game, with 12 different fruits that had abilities similar to the show. Surely it'll appeal to the millions of One Piece fans, but to actually make them play, Indra made sure that all the mechanics were flawless.
Nice.
Bro, they got the Buddha fruit? That's my favorite in the show. Shut up and take my money.
Jeg har ikke set One Piece, men er der frugter, som de æder og får kræfter, eller?
Following the successful release, Indra continued to add fruits, islands, weapons, and NPCs based on the popular show. He also let One Piece fans decide the next update, which overall made the game more interactive and prosper financially.
Han tjener mange penge på Blox piece.
But after this, Indra completely switched his plan. Usually, he would do mini updates weekly, which players loved. But one day he thought,
what if we put all our effort into one big update instead?
That might work, but players will have to wait longer for updates. But if you want to stay on top, you need to take risks. So for the next 3 months, the team worked non-stop on their biggest update yet, hoping players will forget them.
C2! Yeah!
With the second world, many new fruits, cooler weapons, and higher levels to grind for, players had so much to do, which led to them inventing the first major challenge. You start with nothing, buy a fruit, and only use that to get max level. Not only did this flood Indra's bank account, but also motivated new players, and gave the game promotion.
Okay.
But even with a very dedicated fan base, Indra still didn't have an identity. He built his entire game from One Piece, which not only seemed unoriginal, but One Piece themselves were striking games that replicated them. To prevent having an island moment, Indra rolled out another big update, completely revamping the game. From simple mechanics to the game name itself, Indra made sure it's still like One Piece, but had its own blocky charm. That way, One Piece fans will still like it, but
det er jo stadig lidt at kopiere One Piece, men det er jo det, man gør, ikke også? Det er det, de gør. Det er det, de gør.
Another way Indra expressed himself was giving back to people, mainly Axior, a longtime fan who made viral videos on the game. In return, Indra and his
Men at Axior var en fan, som lavede virale videoer på spillet.
Friends gave him front row seats to special admin powers.
Han fik admin powers!
From flying boats to never before seen abilities.
Genialt,
what made these clips surreal is that these powers are so different from the normal fruits everyone loved using. Not only did players obsess over them, but also made lore out of it. Since Blox Fruits had a whole story now, players stuck around to see the story develop. And develop it did. As time went by, players got more and more obsessed on the latest and greatest fruits, spending millions of Robux on private servers to grind levels in peace. Although Indra made a fortune from this, he didn't waste it on hats, cars, or
man kan godt bruge dem på hatte og tjene penge, det har vi jo
and instead spent it on making bigger updates, such as Fruit Awakenings, which basically buffs your fruit's abilities. You gotta act broke to stay rich. And although he didn't need to, he added YouTubers in the game as NPCs. A nice token of appreciation, but in the next 6 months, the game only updated one time. But the thing is, Blox Fruits didn't need as many updates. Each one was already massive, plus it was very replayable, with dozens of fruits and 2 massive realms to fight in. The possibilities were endless.
Der kommer
plus, it was easy for new players because they can't get attacked. And just like before, Indra knew how to keep players hyped. Knowing how competitive the game was, he and his brother made 2 enemy clans, kinda like a friendly rival to keep players on their toes.
Where's this red?
Da jeg joinede spillet, der skulle man vælge mellem Team Rød og Team Blå. Og jeg fattede aldrig rigtigt, hvad det betød. Det er fordi, det er 2 klaner, der kæmper mod hinanden.
Maybe not so friendly. While the devs stayed quiet, players sure didn't. Using their wild imagination, they came up with better and better PvP combos with the fruits and fighting styles from the last big update. This randomness made the game a lot more competitive. Which is exactly what Indra would have wanted. Wow, if the game was this hype without updates, imagine what would happen if...
Det har mange flere i dag. C3 kommer nu. Ja, okay, det står allerede der. Third C. Var det i 21 C3 kom?
With 3 massive worlds and a new level cap, let's just
say
the 6 months wait was worth it. By spending more time on fruit designs, weapons, and pretty much everything, players were more motivated to spend days trying to get them. Not because it's from One Piece, but because of how awesome they look. But to make the community stronger, Indra added trading. Every fruit had its own value to prevent scammers. This made fruits like Pokemon trading cards rather than blocky weapons. But best of all, this inspired viral challenge videos where you start with the worst fruit and then trade your way to the best. After this, Indra wondered how big his game could get. His plan wasn't to squeeze money out of players, but to make the best updates possible and keep players playing. Because if his fans were happy, he was happy.
Og så ruller pengene. Han behøver ikke prøve at tjene penge. Han laver bare et fedt spil, og så kommer pengene af sig selv. Det er genialt, mand. Det er sådan, man skal gøre det. Leopardfrugten Er den vild, eller? Jeg ved ingenting om Bloxfruit.
So today I made over 100 accounts in order to spin for the new legendary leopard fruit in Bloxfruits.
Okay. Det er fordi, når den første frugt, du køber, er en random frugt, ikke også? Så hvis han laver 100 kontorer, så har han 100 forskellige chancer for at få leopardfrugten.
See if we can get it or not. What are we gonna get? What an anticlimactic way to end off this video.
The new fruits took so long to get.
Den har 0,01% chance, det vil sige, at han skal lave 10.000 kontorer.
Gave players a reason to keep playing. So following this, he added V4 Awakenings. Basically insane fighting abilities, but you need to follow an entire story for a chance of getting them, which not only added to the lore, but made fighting a lot more immersive. While Indra worked on the next big update, he took some time to realize Bloxfruits may have started with him, but it definitely outgrew him. Despite the effort he put into each update, he couldn't have gotten this far without the help of others. So to pay respects, he made a whole event to thank his fans for 10 billion visits, mailed a Rolex to Axior.
Vent, hvad? Han sendte et Rolex-ur til Axior. Okay.
So he wrote a little poem to thank his brother for sticking around.
Og hans bror fik et digt. Okay. Hvad vil du helst have, et Rolex-ur eller et digt?
After years of failed games,
we struggled together, and now we shine together.
Okay, det er meget fedt digt.
And speaking of shining, welcome to Update 20. For 8 whole months, Indra poured his heart into the update, so fans poured their hearts back into playing. The new fruits, locations, and bosses were so spectacular that it not only broke the player record, but also
2 millioner aktive spillere.
Crashed Roblox 12 times that day.
Det crashede Roblox 12 gange.
But the crazy part is, that's just part 1 of Update 20. Considering he's always planning ahead, I'm sure Indra will have many more years of bringing joy to players and YouTubers, and inspire other devs to do the same. I guess true passion always wins in the end.
Formentlig. We did it, boys!
But doesn't that make you realize, despite being 3 different players, they all have one thing in common.
De har rigtig mange penge.
No, not their insane amounts of money.
Nå, okay, fedt nok. De har ret mange penge.
But their true love for making Roblox games. Their main goal wasn't to make some cash grab, but to create something
Var det lige this til Pet Simulator?
That'll be remembered for the years to come. Because at the end of the day, money is temporary, but your legacy can live forever. But considering how massive Roblox is, there's a lot of people I left out. So if we somehow get 100k likes, I promise to make a part 2 with even crazier players. So if you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and comment who you want to see in the next video.
Okay, så hvis den video får 100.000 likes, så kommer der en part 2. Den har 200.000 likes. Okay, så er der kommet en part 2, ikke også? Nej. Det er der faktisk ikke. Okay, fedt nok.